If you sat down and thought about it, you would be shocked at how many messages are coming at us all the time from all different directions about exactly how much we should exercise and exactly how high our heart rates need to get and exactly what counts as exercise or doesn't count and exactly what we have to do to be healthy. The problem is we often end up not meeting those numbers, those counts, because let's face it, we have busy lives and maybe we haven't yet found the thing we love to do to move our bodies. And then we beat ourselves up about it. Just me? I think we all do it at certain times. And that is the opposite of what we want to do. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Mind Your Midlife, your go-to resource for confidence and success, one thought at a time. Unlike most advice out there, we believe that simply telling you to believe in yourself or change your habits isn't enough to wake up excited about life or feel truly confident in your body. Each week, you'll gain actionable strategies and, oh my goodness, powerful insights to stop feeling stuck and start loving your midlife. This is the Mind Your Midlife podcast. One of my favorite memories from living in the Northern Virginia little city that I lived in for 17 years is when a couple of neighbors and I created an informal walking club. And every Tuesday morning, I think it was around 7 a.m., might have been 6:30 actually, one of us would show up at each other's doors and whoever was ready would start going to get the other ones. And we would walk, and we walked fast. And I may or may not have refused to go once or twice when it was below 30 degrees Fahrenheit. But the amount of talking and just friendship that grew from that, I missed it so much when we moved. And we didn't even move that far, but when you're knocking on your neighbor's door at 6:30 in the morning, a little bit of distance is a tough thing, right? I absolutely got so much out of that, and it is a treasured memory. Now, why was that? Walking is a powerful activity. And what I want to express to you today is that, of course, there are physical benefits. And I'm going to tell you some. They're really amazing. And yet also there are a lot of mental benefits to walking. So even if you already have an exercise routine, you may have heard me say I go to bar class. I actually haven't been this week at all as I'm recording this. Oh my goodness, I'll get there. And I love it. And it has changed my body composition. And at the same time, I don't go to that every day. It's too much. I go about twice a week, hopefully, sometimes once a week. And in between, I have noticed that one of the best things I can do, not only for my health, but for my mental state, is walking. And sometimes it's just a quick walk around the corner, and sometimes it's more than that. So the key is that we want to embrace this idea that we can walk for our physical and mental health without turning it into another source of pressure or another thing that we haven't done properly or perfectly. I want you to let it be something that is amazing, joyful, and stress-free in your life. Walking is good for you. Are you ready to hit stop now? You've learned your lesson. We know that walking is healthy. I think the danger, well, maybe not danger, the risk is that maybe we've been told somewhere along the way that walking is not enough of an exercise. You know what? If your choice is between sitting, or some version of that, and walking, then walking sure as heck is an exercise, and it is enough of an exercise. So don't pick apart your movement in midlife. Walking is good for you. Listen to this. The Mayo Clinic has studied walking, and here's what they found. Regular brisk walking improves cardiovascular fitness, endurance, immune function, hello, and helps manage conditions like type 2 diabetes, stress, and high cholesterol. And yes, stress is a physical condition, and we probably all have it. Did you hear that list? So you can support your heart health. And in midlife, now's the time for us to create a really good baseline for heart health. Absolutely. You can potentially manage or even in some cases lower your blood pressure. Now, of course, I'm not giving medical advice, but hey, if that's a potential side effect of walking, worth a try. You can strengthen bones and muscles, especially if you add in a slow jog occasionally. You need a little bit of that stomping pressure or maybe stair climbing. It aids in maintaining your weight, burning fat. It's pretty easy to get your heart rate to a fat burning range. It improves balance and coordination. And this is something we also need to have a strong baseline with as we get more seasoned in life. That's a big list. And quite frankly, as soon as I read that it could help improve immune function, I'm like almost a teeny bit obsessed with doing things that improve and maintain my gut health, because I know that's where a lot of health, including our immune system, sits. I do so many things for that. We'll have to have an episode about that again soon. I'll put my latest episode from back in season 1 in the show notes if you want to take a look. But this episode is not really about fitness. I just want you to know walking is a fitness activity. That is not up for discussion. What this episode is about is walking for your mind, walking for your confidence, walking for feeling better inside as well as outside. Mental and emotional. Here's the thing. If you walk regularly, it has been shown to help manage anxiety. It absolutely has been shown to help us process emotions. Now, if there's one thing that we all recognize about midlife, there are a lot of shifts and changes going on. And that could be your parents aging, your kids getting older. It could be your body changing, and there's a million different struggles that could be associated with that. It could be considering where your career is going or the end of your career, what's next. It could be relationship changes. It could be friendship changes. There's so many different things potentially changing, and that can create, for sure, anxiety, stress, and even simply something maybe you could call mental noise. Just a lot of junk going on in your head. And if you haven't grabbed my story cycle resource, go to CherylPFisher.com/story cycle. Make sure you get it. It's free. Processing emotions during all these changes is really important. And what that resource does is helps you put a name to the emotion you're feeling and then figure out what are the thoughts behind that. And if you can go walk and let yourself just enjoy the walk, make it as brisk as you can without stopping your kind of mental enjoyment, then you're going to process some of that as you walk. It's almost like a moving meditation. And guess what? As you move plus process emotions, you're boosting your mood and you're boosting your energy. So you've probably heard of endorphins. You've probably heard the runner's high, right? You've probably heard of serotonin, which is the happy hormone, I think I hear it called sometimes. Those are basically natural antidepressants in our bodies. And so I must tell you, I myself am not a runner. I did try a running group one summer many, many, many years ago. A friend talked me into it, training like couch to half marathon, basically. And it was 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months. So you can't do that in a short period of time. I was like medium fit, but I am not a runner. So I found my little group of turtles, we called ourselves, and we slow jogged. I did actually make it to 12 miles, I believe. I didn't run the half marathon because I couldn't go. Anyway, neither here nor there. The point is, I'll never be a runner. I did it because I challenged myself to do it. What I did see is that movement, my slow jog, did boost my mood and actually did boost my energy. That's endorphin. Midlife doesn't have to be a crisis. It's your pivot point. I just launched the Midlife Pivot community on Patreon, and it is totally free for the summer. If you want more confidence, clarity, and support as you navigate career shifts, changing relationships, or just figuring out what's next, this space is for you. We have monthly group coaching, bonus podcast interviews, and other tools to help you feel good in your body, your mind, and your life. So come join me at patreon.com/mindyourmidlife, and let's do midlife together. So if you're having a day where you are just irritated with every flipping person you come in contact with, including maybe yourself, put some shoes on. And I don't even care what kind of shoes, because if you're irritated at everything, you might not want to put on the proper shoes and socks and all of the proper clothing. Just put on whatever shoes are available. Sandals, flats, tennis shoes, I don't care. And go for a walk. Amazing what it can do. I'm curious, for my next point, whether you, like me, have ever been talking to someone on the phone and searching frantically for your phone while doing it, and then realizing it's in your hand because you're using it. Or maybe the power has gone out and you know you can't quite cook dinner the normal way, so you try to flick on the lights and put something in the microwave. Or, one of my favorites, you look for your glasses while they're on top of your head. I give you these examples not to really embarrass you or me, but to say executive function, focus, mental clarity is also something that during midlife and as we get more seasoned through our lives, that's something that could always use a boost. And guess what I'm going to say? Yes, walking helps. Your brain loves that movement, and you are going to improve your focus, your memory, your executive function, which is that ability to reason and maybe not look for your phone while you're talking on it. Now, here's a big bonus. If you are doing this outside, because I would say that's an if, you might have a walking pad under your desk. You might have a treadmill in your house, in your gym, in your garage. Those are good ways to walk. And there's a bonus if you walk outside, because seeing nature, and just one of my favorite things to do when I was a child, and really still today, let's be honest, was to lie on the ground or lie in like a deck chair, a beach chair, and just look up at the sky. And either I was looking at the shape of the clouds or I was just enjoying the blue sky. Almost always I was looking at trees and the movement of the leaves on the trees when there's a little bit of breeze. That just automatically makes me happy. And there is a lot of science behind the fact that when we make a connection with nature in that way, it is an absolute boost to our mood and even our mental health and our physical health. So if you are able to walk outside, look at the trees, you're being in nature, you're getting some sun. Of course, do it safely, but sun is needed for vitamin D, which is a huge and important thing for our bodies. And maybe you can even walk around in some grass or on some sand, and you can be grounding as well. Go look for the grounding episode on Mind Your Midlife. All of those are powerful. So how are we going to get this done and still not beat ourselves up if we miss a day or we don't do it quite as well as we'd hoped? The key is it's not about counting and it's not about all or nothing. So I don't want you to worry about step goals when it comes to walking. I have an Apple Watch, and I used to have a whatever the other one is called. I don't remember. I guess I need to walk and get some mental clarity. And it shows my step count, but I don't pay too much attention to it, except to maybe notice if there's a pattern over a period of time, because I don't like to count things. When I eat, I do not count calories. I do not count macros. It is a problem for me and the way my brain functions. That may or may not be true for you, but I'm going to encourage you, if you don't have a walking habit already, drop the counting. Don't worry about counting minutes or steps or calories burned or any of that. We're not going to do math about it. I want you to instead find a way to enjoy it. And maybe if you can create a habit that you really enjoy, eventually you can start going for goals that are related to step count or calories or number of minutes. But right now, let's start with 5 minutes. Let's start with enjoying it. And I don't even know, I shouldn't even say 5 minutes. I want you to start with, when in my day can I go outside for a walk and it will be a good thing? It will help me calm down, or it will help me enjoy the trees and the breeze, or it will help me stop being irritated about the person I was just talking to. When in my day can I do that? It doesn't matter how long it is. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing. When in my day can I do that? I want you to teach your brain that this is a really enjoyable thing to do. Because can you guess what your brain is going to want to do when it decides that walking is a really enjoyable thing to do? You guessed it. It's going to want to do it more. So the more that we can look at walking, and even, let's take it bigger, movement as a gift, not as something to be counted and struggled over, the more that your brain is going to want that gift more often and more often and more often. And it takes time. Again, with the not beating ourselves up, it takes time. I go through periods where I walk a lot every day. I go through periods where I hardly walk at all. And I do physically feel different. So if you get into this habit and then you kind of fall off a little bit, you'll feel a difference. And you'll know you can just start again. You can always just start again. All right, so this is all well and good. I'm saying to you, a few minutes, enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. And you're thinking, well, that's great, but my day is very busy and I don't know how I'm going to fit this in. So let's talk about how. How about something that you might have heard of before called habit stacking? Why don't you do something else while you're walking? And I really do love the idea of walking with no music, no podcast, no nothing, and just looking around and enjoying nature. Forest bathing, that's called, if you're hiking in the forest, and that has health benefits too. But if you have a busy day and your struggle with getting yourself out and moving has been that you don't feel like you have time, then let's habit stack it. Listen to your podcast while you're walking. Listen to music while you're walking. Make phone calls while you're walking. You need to call your mom, you need to call your sister, you need to call your friend, you need to call your boss. Do it while you're walking. You could even drink your coffee or tea while you're walking. There are no rules here. Habit stack. Get your morning coffee or tea or whatever and go out for a walk around the block. Whoo, imagine that. I also want you to do a little reframing of what this walk is. Let's not make it a task that we have to check off. Let's not even think about it at first as exercise. Let's think about it as a reset, a mental reset, like a deep breath. I got to take a deep breath sometime during the day. When am I going to do it? Maybe I'm going to do it now at 3 p.m. because I surely need a break. So once you've started habit stacking and your brain is starting to learn that this is a great reset, maybe right now it's May, the weather maybe where you are is nice. Even if it's hot or cold, you're going to start teaching yourself that this is a good thing. So then how about if you said, you know what, once a week, maybe I'll turn everything off and I'll go tech free and I'll look at the leaves and I'll smile at the people I walk by. And if none of those tips are helping you as quickly as you would like them to, then find a buddy. Remember how I said one of my best memories from my old neighborhood was the walking once a week with my neighbors? That's not an accident. When you walk with someone else, number one, they're giving you accountability. So you're making a plan at a certain time on a certain day to go, and you're probably going to go. But number two, it's pretty cool the conversations you end up having when you're walking with someone. There isn't a lot of other time in our lives, typically, unless we are actively making sure we're having a meal or a happy hour or something with our friends regularly. There isn't another time just built in where we could have conversations that go in all directions and probably help you get to know people deeper than you otherwise might have. Try it. So I wanted to share with you the power of walking physically and mentally. We're releasing stress. We're improving our physical health. Did you hear all those things it can help with? And did you hear all the mental benefits? And I just want to say again, it's really important that this is a plus, a positive in your life and not another thing that you have to do. Let it be a reward. Let it be a break. Let it be a reset. You probably have a lot of emotional stuff going on, whether it's caregiving or major life changes. Use walking to release that stress. Believe it or not, gentle, consistent movement helps regulate your nervous system. So like we were talking about, when you are feeling worked up, this will help. And absolutely no beating yourself up. If you miss a day, let me tell you what, I haven't walked very much this week because I've been out of the house all day, every day. Okay, start again. Do it tomorrow. Do it tonight. No guilt. No, I'm such a mess. Just pick it back up. Sometime in the next couple of days, put your shoes on. Unless you're in grass, you can leave your shoes off in ground and go walk around the block. Or maybe grab a friend or a neighbor and go walk. No stress, no pressure, no speed goals, no nothing. And pay attention. How are you feeling beforehand and how are you feeling afterwards? See if you believe me. I think you might be surprised. That's your OMG moment for this week. Now, there is just about 1 week until the Patreon community Midlife Pivot launches. I'm so excited with all the cool things that I am bringing to you. It's free all summer. Make sure you're in the know, CherylPFisher.com/midlifepivot, and make sure that you've hit the follow button on the podcast, because next time we're going to create a story of your life and you'll be surprised how powerful that can be. So in the meantime, remember, slow down, notice what's going on around you and in your head, and create something amazing.